Hello everybody, I am here to go over the course Nursing 300 orientation. Typically we would do this in class, but since we had issues with extending spring break, we are going to do this online, and I am recording orientation for you. So what I'd like you to do is open up your Nursing 300 orientation document from Moodle, and we'll kind of go down the list, and then I might pop back and forth between the Moodle course site, the NCLEX RN study contract, and maybe even sometimes the syllabus and schedule. So to begin, we already took the Kaplan assessment test. That was the one that we did on campus right before spring break. It was 180 questions. Those of you who needed to do remediation, again, the goal for all of the testing is to score 70%. Essentially, everybody should be remediating, even if you scored an 80%. It's just to help you to ensure that you're getting that studying in for NCLEX. And we all want you to pass, of course. That is the ultimate goal. So there is a lot of opportunity on the Kaplan website, which I can even log on there and show you what it looks like too. So you know where to go, which I'm sure after doing the assessment test and the remediation, a lot of you kind of already have navigated through the Kaplan website as well. So I did change the remediation note cards due date. So it will be Monday, March 23rd. Just so you know, I think the original date was on March 17th. So March 23rd, the Dropbox is open, and if you have any problems submitting it in the Dropbox, then please just email it to me. You can even take a picture of it and email it that way, whatever works best for you. And essentially what I do with the remediation note cards is I just keep track of who needed to do the remediation note cards and if they were submitted on time, and I just take a quick peek at them to see what you did. Again, the remediation note cards, it's for you. So, a good thing is to look at the concepts that you missed and all the questions you got incorrect, and then seeing, okay, well, what do I need to look into studying more? Is it all maternity-based questions? Is it all, certain disease-based questions like diabetes? So really, the note cards and the remediation are for you. And like I said, the goal is to pass the NCLEX exam. And so all of these remediation methods are here to help you pass. So the next test we're going to do is the Kaplan diagnostic test. And we normally do this on campus, but because of the restrictions, and we did get the go-ahead from Kaplan themselves, so that's okay for you to do it online. So the diagnostic test, I found people say that it's a bit more difficult. The questions are a little bit, I guess, just more harder. They're more critical thinking. So just know that you might notice the questions are a little bit more difficult than the assessment test. It's more application and analysis type questions. It's 180 questions. The max time is 215 minutes. Essentially, this test gives you an idea of whether or not you're going to pass NCLEX, and the scoring system on Moodle, I think I posted something too that has a list of if you got like 65% or 60% or 55%, this is your likelihood of passing. So if you get a 65%, it's close to a 94% probability of passing, which is pretty good. I think that's 65%. You see the score and you think maybe that's really low, but in all honesty, that's a good probability of passing. And again, we want you to try to strive for 70%, but we don't require that you keep taking tests with Kaplan until you get a 70%, which I guess is something that they required in the past. And we also, for the diagnostic test, used to have you meet with Mrs. Compton if you scored less than the 65%, but I just confirmed with her today that you do not need to meet with her. It's just too difficult right now to schedule meetings with everybody, and she also has a class she's teaching too, so you guys lucked out and you don't have to meet with her. And really, just so you know, those meetings were more to touch base with you, see where you're at with studying, what your plans are with studying, how things are going with Kaplan. It's nothing that was punitive. But do know with the diagnostic test, if you score less than 65%, you will need to complete remediation note cards, and they're the same as you did for the assessment test. And then if you score less than 55%, you'll still need to do the remediation note cards, but they also want you to do some Q banks on the missed topics. And that again is just something that if you score less than the 55%, I will look in the Kaplan website to see who did Q banks remediation. And then it's just like a check mark that you had it done. And the remediation note cards are due on Monday, April 6th by 23:59. And again, there's a Moodle Dropbox for that, or you can email it to me. You can handwrite the note cards, or you can type them. And then also it's a good idea to review some of the videos as part of the remediation. There's a ton of videos to review in Kaplan. But, again, remediation cards must be done if you didn't get the required score. And then look at your study plan for more information, and that's the NCLEX RN study contract, to make sure that you document all of your scores on that contract every time you take them. And that NCLEX study contract is what I would like you to, if we're going to be on campus, to bring it with you. There are certain times throughout the remainder of the term where it's due. You just have to check the schedule or the syllabus to see what those dates are. And then there's a Dropbox in Moodle, or you can email that as well. I know some people have problems with it because it says it's too large of a file when they try to submit. And you're just submitting this section of NCLEX contract that we, the time period from the last submission to what we're up to now. So it's not the entire document that you have to send me every time. And then you can also take pictures of it and email it to me. So I had mentioned already about Kaplan that you no longer have to continue to take it if you don't reach 70%. But again, it's a good idea to remediate after each test and fill out the study plan. The calendar, there's lots of Kaplan things, testing, there's the Kaplan sessions, there's videos. Make sure to use the syllabus and calendar as your Bible, which I have written in there, because it is essential that you're staying on track with your assignments. It's always a good thing to do them ahead of time if you can. This course is very condensed in general, and there's just a lot of different things and assignments and activities due at very different times. So if you have Google Calendar on your cell phone, I think it's a good idea to set reminders in there for assignments that are due. And then also, I think, I haven't done this yet, but I want to go in there and update the actual calendar that's in Moodle. So I'm going to do that shortly. But definitely for now, look at the syllabus, because that's updated with all of the schedule changes and assignment due dates. So Kaplan tests and dates, again, it's, really you need to keep track of the due dates on those in the assignments. It's not our responsibility to remind you of the due dates. Kaplan is a benefit for you, not us. This is for you to pass NCLEX. And, we put these assignments out there because there's a higher probability of you passing NCLEX by going through Kaplan and doing all of the assignments and testing. It's a good program. Majority of people like it. Certainly if you're having issues with it, they have chat sessions that you can talk with somebody online. And then two, I know there's other programs out there. Some you might have to pay for. There's UWorld. There's nursing.com, and I think that one also provides some good information about NCLEX and studying. But Kaplan again is for you. It's for your benefit to pass NCLEX. And the other thing I was going to say with Kaplan is you can, I believe, view it up to 3 months after you graduate. So you'll be able to access it for a while afterwards once you're done with the term. And also, if any of the assignments are submitted late, just know I have to do an academic warning. It's just kind of the standard in this course. It's another important reason to pay attention to your calendar and set reminders. I know that's something that I do every day with my phone, pops up all the time with something for me to do. The other thing, so you have the contract, it's the Kaplan RN and NCLEX study contract. Go ahead and sign that as soon as you print that off. It's this one here. See if it'll pop up here. So I updated it for starting tomorrow with all the changes related to our extended spring break and coronavirus. And then I changed, so here's the assessment test. Fill that information in for your assessment test. And then, although I believe that date's incorrect, it's for the 23rd. And then everything else I starred next to it that the date changed. So all of these assignments are going to be due just before you take the diagnostic test on the 26th. So there's several videos for you to review. There's an introduction video. There's a couple trainer tests that you need to do. 3 of them, I believe, and then a QBank test. They are all due before the diagnostic test on the 26th. And like I said, the diagnostic one is similar in question length, but it might be a little bit more difficult for you. So you can get up at home and take breaks. It's still timed, and just try to remember honesty and integrity with test taking. We're accommodating, so that we don't have to worry about scheduling to do this on campus, just so you know. And then once you're finished with the diagnostic test, go ahead and fill in your scores here. And this again doesn't apply. You don't have to schedule a meeting with the program director. And then there's NCLEX prep sessions 1 and 2 that are online. And there's session 1 and 2 here. You don't have to finish them by the 26th. It's just essentially whenever you have time. This is a good guideline as to when they should be done. But, the point is these video sessions, some of them we would do on campus and some we would do online. But now, because of the coronavirus, we're all having to do them all online. So it's up to you how you want to complete them. Some people might decide to do, half of the sessions in one day and the other half another day. So try to work it around your schedule and availability. All right, so that is the study contract. And then just so you know, I put revised, the capstone course syllabus. The revised syllabus is here, so that's the old one. And then right here I have the updated study contract for you, and then the revised orientation for you as well. Okay, moving on. So I know I talked about Kaplan a little bit, and the thing is, if you do what we ask, again, there's a very high probability that you will pass with 75 questions with the NCLEX, which is the goal. Use your time wisely. These assignments are actually a time where you're studying for NCLEX. So it's helping you to prepare. So it's almost like it's a class, but in the class itself, it's NCLEX preparation. So again, with the contract, make sure to fill out the dates, complete it as you go through the process, bring it to class or upload it to Moodle in the Dropbox. It says there'll be spot checks on the contract, but the due dates are listed, so just make sure to post it in the Dropbox or email it to me by those due dates. We talked already about the Kaplan remediation. There's all of the Kaplan resources, the orientation videos, posters, content videos, focus review. There is so much to look at through that website. And again, review the calendar. Pay attention to the times that everything is due. So, lecture material. We typically have 2 on-campus lectures, and then the remainder are online. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes with the virus here, because there's a good chance, I feel, that the rest of the term will be online. So most of the course already I have recorded all of the lectures, so it would be fairly easy for me to convert everything else to all online as well. I would just have to record the 2 lectures that we would have been doing on campus. But as of today, and as of now, March 23rd that you're listening to this, I will be seeing you on campus. So that again might change. And I want to say the first date we see each other is in April. That says April 13th for the NCLEX prep session. I should know by then if this is really going to take place. So just for now, if you have time, you can see all of these prep sessions. They're just online videos. Some of them can be quite lengthy. Just know they tend to talk a little slow. So you certainly can speed up how fast they talk. Just so you know, in class, I usually went up to like 1.5 speed. And it went much faster than that, the 3.5 hours, however long they are. And you could still comprehend what they're saying. Okay, so we'll keep you posted on the schedule. The guest speakers still are kind of up in the air. I know that Miss Compton already has said that she's going to record the NCLEX class that she was going to do with you guys. So that will be audio just like this and online. Certainly email her with any NCLEX questions for sure. And if you look on the syllabus too, I just kept all of the old information on here if you needed to reference it, and then I crossed off all of the changes that I made. So here's 326, so the change was that it's not on campus anymore, and here it's online, so just so you know why I had to keep all of those crossed off areas. Okay, we know that the gala and VBON were both canceled. They're so busy right now at the hospital. I think they would hire people right now. So if you're very interested in working somewhere, I would go ahead and get your application out there, your resume done. There's a good chance they will take you to work as soon as you're available. There's no reason to delay any further. With the gala, the nice thing is that all of the managers come together to meet us. But if you kind of know where you want to go anyways, then I would say go ahead and submit that resume and try to get in touch with that manager. If you are unsure of who the manager is, just email me and then I can email you their contact information. So like I said, VBON is canceled. The professional speakers, I crossed it off here because I'm still not sure about Sandy Bell. She is the campus coordinator, and she usually will come and do like a resume writing and career development class lecture, and I just don't think it's going to happen because of the CDC restrictions with their groups having to be less than 10 people. And with our testing, if those restrictions stay in place, what we'll have to do, and this is what I'm doing for data vision, is that I'm dividing up the course. So we'll have 3 separate classrooms. They'll all be computer labs, and Trish Nickel and myself will be in 2, and then I'll have to find another proctor to go into that 3rd classroom. All right, QI projects, the quality improvement projects. So begin paying attention. if you're working in the hospital right now, is there anything that you see out there that some department or area might benefit from an improvement? And if you're unsure what to look for, maybe do a little research online, see if you have enough information to work with it. So I'll assign the groups, and I will, on Tuesday, March 31st, I'll notify you what group you're in. So I'll send a news forum message out, and then I'll post the assigned groups on Moodle. So here in Moodle, if you go down to the quality improvement lectures, so we've got QI project groups and topics, and then I already have opened up for you to see the rubrics for the presentation and the projects, paper tips, the APA formatting help. Here's a sample paper. And then in here, this is where I will post what projects you're in. This has been a little slow to open up, so I might not be able to show this to you. I'll just go back. Okay, so again, what I like to do is it's just a variety of groups that are together. So usually groups of 3 to 4, depending on the class size. A couple other assignments we have are discussion boards. So pay attention to the syllabus and when those are due. The discussion board 1, it's an ethical dilemma. I'm pretty sure I already have it opened up in here. This is the data vision group, so I'll have to clear that out for you guys. But that's where you would enter in I'll put the group numbers there and then what project you're doing. So for the discussion board, the first one's ethical dilemma. You're going to follow the grading rubric and just see the calendar for due dates. And then you need to reply to a minimum of 2 of your peers' responses to the initial ethical dilemma discussion board. And I believe the responses need a minimum of 1 APA formatting reference, and then your initial post will need a minimum of 2 references, APA formatting. The second discussion board, you'll be assigned a group again, and usually what I like to do is, depending on what your precepting assignment is, then I'll go by those groups, like all the staff that's in the ER, all the nursing students, staff that are in med-surg units, then we'll do a group together. And you can do whatever professional organization that's out there that's nursing related. There's the Emergency Nurses Association, the Med-Surg Nurses Association, and then there's also grading rubric that's listed on the course site, I believe. So here's the ethics one that's already open for you. You certainly can get started on this now. And then the nursing organization discussion board, and I will post the groups up here, and I will send a news forum message as soon as I know when they're assigned, and then it'll be based on what the syllabus says for the timeline as to when you'll know what groups you're in. So precepting still is kind of up in the air. We haven't released where you're going to go yet. Tomorrow I'm going to talk with Miss Compton and Miss Nickel and see if we should even have you reach out yet to your preceptors to see if we can at least get that process started. I know that it doesn't start technically until the 28th, so I will let you know soon here within the next couple days as to what the plan is for precepting. They had mentioned that you can go back to clinicals and do precepting on March 30th. So we'll see if that stays in place. I know that there still is a pretty good shortage of supplies, so there is a possibility they might not want students to go back, which I know I've heard some people have concerns about whether or not they'll meet the graduation requirements, and VBON and the state have actually waived a lot of the requirements, so I wouldn't be too concerned. I even heard, I don't know if it was a governor or somebody else today mentioned that they're like ready to even start having student nurses work before they graduate. They're so desperate for staff. So if we do start precepting, there's the section on Moodle to go ahead and look into. There's a packet, there's paperwork that I need you to print out. As soon as I see you guys at some point, I'll need copies of your skills checklist. So keep a copy for yourself, and then I'll need the original. Just know I'll need that as soon as we see each other next on campus. And then I can send out a reminder too. There is a contract that you and your preceptor will need to sign. So do that as soon as you meet with them. Typically what will happen is that as soon as you find out who your preceptor is, you can contact them and let them know, hey, I want to meet with you, go over your schedule, see when you're working. And then when you go and meet with them initially, you can bring all this paperwork with you for them to sign. And then once you have that completed and signed, you give it back to me. You'll want to make copies of everything that you have your preceptor sign. There's a midterm evaluation, which will be done around the third shift. And then the final eval, which needs to be done by the 7th shift. The steward evaluations and grading rubric is listed on the Moodle website as well. So there is a calendar on Moodle. So if you go down to clinical, you'll see there's student precepting schedule. Let's see if it'll pull up the correct one here. It might not be the correct one. So eventually what you'll do, and it might bring up the data visions one calendar, which again, has been very slow today. It's a calendar, you'll type in your last name, your shift. It's just in order for us to know what days you're working. Did do it. Okay. So what you'll do is see, here's an example. I put my last name, first name initial, and then the shift I'm working. So you just type that in each day that you're working for March, probably not any shifts in March, April and May, and then June. And then what I'll do is when it's going to be your shift for your steward evaluation, I'll highlight it. It's going to be either myself, Trish Nickel. If you're on NICU or WICU, it'll be Miss Hobbs or Robin Cook who'll do the steward evaluations. And we usually like to come either the 3rd, 4th, or 5th shift. So you'll do a full head-to-toe assessment on a patient, and then we'll also do report, just like we did for your leadership rotation for clinicals. And, use your SBAR sheet, use whatever tools that maybe your nurse is using to help you prepare report. If you're day shift, I'll usually come in anytime from like 10 a.m. until 3 or 4 p.m. and it's not planned. So I will give you a heads up, usually the day or two before, so hey, just a reminder, I'm coming out to do your steward assessment. And make sure you have all the paperwork with you printed off, the grading rubric. I'll have a copy too. But let your instructor or your preceptor know that morning that we're going to be coming, that you have your steward evaluation. You're going to be picking one of the patients out of the assignment. Somebody that would be willing to participate. Let your patient know that your instructor will be coming by later and that you'll have to do another assessment. You'll do your morning assessment. So if you're working day shift, you do your morning assessment usually right after you get report and look at orders. And then you'll do a second assessment with me. So you may end up doing a total of 3 assessments that 12-hour shift. But don't wait, do your first assessment right away that morning. And then we'll also go over the interventions. Right after we do verbal report, there's a minimum of 6, but if you want to get full points, it's 8 interventions that you'll choose for your patient. It's 2, let's see if it's up here on, let me go back. So on Moodle, if you go down to clinicals, there's the steward head-to-toe grading rubric, the steward verbal report grading rubric, and then the interventions paperwork drop box. So you'll want to go ahead and print off these papers so you can understand what the grading rubric is and what you'll get graded on. But the interventions are to do, to teach, and to assess. So if you have a patient who's painful, you might assess pain level every 4 hours, and then you'll want to share the rationale for it, and then what was the outcome. So pay attention to the grading rubric for the interventions. And another thing I wanted to mention about that is you have a little bit of time to complete them. So say your shift ends at 7 p.m., you'll have 48 hours to complete your interventions and then submit them in the Dropbox. So 48 hours from 7 p.m., the end of your shift, and then just upload them into Moodle. Use the template that's provided in here. And I think that's about it for steward evals. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, please just email me. I'll answer them. I know it's difficult because we're not able to interact and it's not on campus, but I am more than willing to answer any questions. Just email me. Okay, we talked about paperwork, your schedules, the steward evaluations. I'll get back to you on your assignments within the next couple days. There's also a section in here where you need to sign in and out of your shift. It's in the timekeeper here. This is where you'll clock in and out for your preceptorship. And I think here is some instructions on how to do that as well. And this talks more about scheduling and the steward and evaluation and when we'll do it. And then you'll also need a Google account to be able to access the precepting to schedule in that calendar. Just so you know, so in case you don't have a Google account, here's information on how to sign up for one. And then if you have any technical questions, go ahead and email Robin Tucker, and her email is provided down here for you. I think that's about it for orientation. Again, just go through the website here, look through all the documents, look at all the rubrics. I'll open up some of the lectures here as time moves on. You should have your book already. VBON, of course, doesn't apply anymore since that's canceled. Log in to Kaplan. Look at all of the available resources for you. And, hopefully we'll find out some more information about what the restrictions will be for precepting. And if there's any questions at all, please let me know, and I will keep in touch with you guys, and I'll let you know in a couple days about your preceptor assignments, and if there's any updates for you, I'll let you know. Thank you so much.